And it's been intense interviewing people, brave men and women who have come forward and have shared their opinions on the land and the second land conference that's about to happen in September. That's coming up actually very soon. Look, as a young person, of this country, and as a young person who's in agriculture, look, I don't have any ancestral claim to any land here in Namibia, beside in the Zambezi region. That's where I can claim. But when you're talking south of the veterinary line, I have no ancestral claim to any land here. If I had to humbly ask something, it'll be quite simple that whatever decisions are taken at the land conference, it's decisions that are inclusive to everybody, that everybody has an equal opportunity. You know, I've always said that this one-shoe-fits-all policy does not really work. If we as people have to sit down and honestly look at ourselves, it's not everybody that really wants land to farm. There's some people who just want land to be able to build a home for himself, where he or her and her kids and their kids can actually put their heads down in a proper house with a proper roof and not really struggle. And there I agree. Because there's vast, you drive through the capital city, there's vast open pieces of land. You drive through some of the regional towns, there's also vast open pieces of land where currently right now there is no development happening on it. So it's understandable why some people might call for urban land and wonderland. So when it comes to all this land that's just sitting open, it's understandable why some people might have a frustration. But here let me talk about agricultural land, let me talk about farming land. The reality is what I have seen with some people, and I spoke about this, I think, yesterday, is the problem that there are some people that have this mentality that once you get a farm, once you obtain a farm, may it be resettled or may it be land that was expropriated by the government and given to you, some people have this crazy mentality that they're going to become rich overnight. That is not the case. I feel like before you even start crying for farmland and say you want to farm, you want farming land, better you take time and do proper research on this type of business that you want to go into. It's not the easiest business. It's romantic, yes, fine. You have free time. You have a lot of free time on your hands. You know, you're your own boss. But it doesn't mean that you're going to be the most successful person. The one thing that I've always been against, and that I've argued most of the time with a lot of people, is this, where some people feel that because you belong to a certain tribe, you are the best cattle farmer or the best crop farmer. Come on, we all know that the one-shoe-fits-all policy does not work. Even though there are people in your tribal group you belong to who have excelled in agriculture, doesn't mean that everybody in that tribe will excel in agriculture. There are people that are not good at it. I have used the stereotypes such as that we believe all Chinese people are very good at mathematics. You do meet some Chinese people who are good at math. You do meet some Chinese people who are good at using their hands. You do meet some Chinese people that are good with electronics, but they're not good with numbers. We all have our different set of talents. It does not necessarily mean because I belong to a certain tribe, by default, it makes me as good. To keep the stereotype running, it doesn't work that way. You know, coming to this land conference that's going to happen now in September, I'm really hoping, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that whatever is decided there is a peaceful method of how we redistribute the land. The resettlement policy, I believe, needs to be revamped, needs to be relooked, needs to be done properly. If we're still going to keep it running, it needs to be run in an unbiased way. Everybody needs to have an opportunity. I'm not just talking about tribes, I'm talking about even races. You know, some white people and black people. Let all of us have an opportunity. You know, let all of us have an opportunity to obtain resettlement farms. And let us select the best. Let it be not on what tribe or race or surname or who you're associated with. Let it be the best man gets the job. It's better that we appoint a person who's going to receive this government farm, this resettlement farm, and go on it and run it productively, than just rather appoint a person because he holds a certain surname or he belongs to a certain tribe and he gets this farm and is unable to run and manage it, you know, or he runs it to near collapse. Land is a sensitive issue, but I believe it will be foolish of us as Namibian people to try and say let's take the land and let's give it to the previously people who were forced off the land. As much as I agree that restoration of land has to happen, but we can't say that because this individual comes from that tribe, that necessarily means he needs to get a farm. Sometimes he might not be the best candidate. If it means that the best candidate to get this farm is a person who's not even in the tribes or the people who are calling for ancestral land, it's someone from outside, let's give him the opportunity. For me, I always say this. Look, I believe in this. You take a concept of a country such as the United States of America, the US. The US is what we call a conglomerate of different tribes, ethnicities, and ethnicities, cultures, and languages. And they have really taken what they have and they have built one of the greatest countries in this world. So, here in Africa, not in Africa, but here in Namibia, unfortunately, when the Germans arrived here, they used the policy of separate and rule. Through the policy of separate and rule, they made sure that the tribal lines are kept pure. This is why today you will hear of the various tribes in Namibia. They're very different languages, different faces, and different cultures. It's because of that. And I believe if history was written differently and we had the opportunity to intermingle and intermarry, well, the call for land would have been a unified call. It wouldn't be one group calling for land, calling for ancestral land, and the rest of the people are telling them, no, you're being unnecessary. I believe it would have been a different story. But unfortunately, it hasn't gone that way. So the question here is to now, the work is here, is to now us, the next generations, the next generation political leaders, the next generation public leaders, the next generation business leaders. It's a question of how are we now going to move from this? Are we still going to keep the mindsets our parents have of